Well, thank you for that kind introduction. I'm glad we were able to get our little girl, Hayden, off the stage. We were campaigning in Iowa recently, and we were talking to a large group of people, and Hayden just kind of walked out onto the stage there and put her arm around my leg, and everybody kind of got a kick out of that, but she stayed. And about 5 minutes into it and so forth, you know, it was wonderful, but it was a little disconcerting. About 5 minutes into it, you know, I said, honey, do you want to go, thought I'd shame her a little bit maybe, and you want to go over here and sit back down with your mama, or do you just want to stay out here in the limelight? She thought for a second and says, I'll just stay in the limelight. And she stood there the rest of my talk with me. It was the most unusual, wonderful experience I've ever had in my life. Thank you all very much. Thank you for what you're doing, who you are, being here today, that warm welcome for me, and giving me an opportunity to spend a few minutes with you. You know, someone said once upon a time, after you become president of the United States, you don't make any new friends. That's certainly not true with regard to running for president of the United States, because I have made several new friends, several new wonderful friends, several people who have reached out to me, not just from a political standpoint, but from a personal standpoint, to Jerry and me. And we know that regardless of anything else, we have made some lifelong friends. And I've had some conversations with people about things that I haven't talked about a lot in some years. And they were good for me. And I'm a better man for it. And those individuals know who I'm talking about, and I just want to tell you how much I appreciate that and how much it's meant to me. We've been together for a long time. We've not always agreed on precisely the right approach to absolutely everything, but our goal has always been the same, and that is to leave this country better off than when we came into it, just like our ancestors have done generation after generation for us. We live in the greatest country in the history of the world. Our obligation is to do everything that we can to keep it that way. And to improve it. And in order to do that, we'd best know how we got here and what we did right along the way. We were blessed in the very beginning in so many different ways. We had a group of founding fathers who knew the scriptures, who knew the wisdom of the ages, who knew that there was such a thing as human nature, who knew that man was prone to err, and government ought to be constructed on the basis of that knowledge, but that man could rise to great heights when inspired and when given the opportunity. They put forth a Declaration of Independence and announced to the entire world that we believe and we acknowledge and we know in this country that our basic rights come from God and not from any government. We were given a constitution based upon those concepts. Not too much power in too few hands. Power divided not only at the federal level, between the federal and the state level, all based on the notion that not all solutions to all problems emanate from Washington, D.C. That was our system of federalism that we put forth to the world, and became a beacon of hope and inspiration for all mankind who love freedom. When we started out this thing, there were no democracies in the world, and now, depending on exactly how you define them, most of the countries in the world are, in large part because of the inspiration and the dedication of the United States of America. Our people have shed more blood for the liberty of other people than any other nation in the history of the world, and we're proud of that. In this country, we are steeped in the tradition of honor and sacrifice for the greater good. and we are proud of that heritage. And from time to time, citizens step forth to serve their country in different ways. In 1994, I felt it was my time, and I joined many others in putting aside the things that we were doing and stepping up and doing the things that we thought were necessary for the betterment of our country. And I'm proud to say that over 8 years on national issues, I was a consistent conservative, cutting taxes, balancing the budget, reducing regulation, promoting welfare reform, fighting for good conservative judges with a 100% pro-life voting record, and I'm proud of that record. That's who I was then, that's who I am today, and that's the kind of president I would be. We had an opportunity during the time that I was in the United States Senate to vote several times on abortion-related issues. There were funding issues. There was the so-called partial birth abortion issue, which, of course, Senator Moynihan had it correctly. It's more like infanticide than it is so-called abortion. We had parental rights notification issues where we had a bill that prohibited interstate transportation of young girls to defeat the parental notification rights of states. We had cloning issues with stem cell issues. My position on that was very simple. You don't create life in order to destroy it.